Hey guys, it's BW and we're back out in the garage. Welcome back to another episode of A Can of Worms. Let me pull you guys down off of the tripod there. Let's take a look at what we got going on this old rusty Nova. I'm actually having fun. It's kind of funny. There was a few cuss words said today. Thankfully we weren't on any camera for that, but you guys can see I had to take the hood off. And then I had to take the inner and outer fender well off after that. And, well, I can tell you, you can see there's no room. And I'm by myself. And I guarantee you there's not one bit of damage to that hood. But, man, my back hurts. But we got it off. We got the fender off, the inner fender off. And let me show you real quick. I put a quick out, or excuse me, a short out on it. And, oh, by the way, look. 2011 was the last time this thing was inspected. I wonder if it was really able to pass, or they had a friend that gave them a sticker, because I'll tell you guys what, this car is pretty bad. Anyway, back to it. This is the reason why we had to take the fender off and the inner fender off. You would think that the rocker would end right here, but it doesn't. It actually, you see a spot weld right here we got to get, and there's one right here. And there's also a couple up inside, because there's a brace up in here that we're going to need to separate it from too. And you can see somebody was in here, because there's some old welds and stuff like that. We're going to have to do some cleaning up and some investigating here. It doesn't look too bad. I remember we had to fix the brace in this corner too, so there was some rot. But we'll get that cleaned up. Let me take you over to the new rocker and show you what it actually looks like, so that you can maybe get a better visual on it. There's the fender. There's the inner fender. We just left the hinge attached to the fender for now. We're not worried about that. Anyway, come over here, and don't judge me too awful bad for using my 55 as a workbench, but we are out of room. But this is the passenger side. I opened the wrong box, but you can see where the rocker ends here. It still has an extension, and I don't know, the cowl's up top. What would you guys call that down below? Like the bottom of the pillar, it extends all the way to the end of it. Oh, I got that thing bouncing around. I'll have to get that a little better. Let me put you guys back on the stand there before that falls off, because the driver's side's still in the box. And like I said, guys, I ordered these rockers on Saturday, and the passenger side showed up Sunday afternoon. I'm not kidding you. And the driver's side showed up Monday afternoon, and they said they sent me an email that, well, you're running late, we apologize. I didn't think they were running late. They don't give me any discounts, but boy oh boy, they make sure I get my parts in a timely manner. I really love Summit. All right, so that's what's going on there. I'm just going to keep plugging along. I can't wait to finish getting this rocker off, so I can actually put a new piece of sheet metal on. I'm tired of taking stuff off. You can see I had to pull the door too, obviously. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy with how this thing's looking, because we finally found, guys, this is the inner rocker. Now, aside from being a little dirty, and they're like right there at the end, there's a little bit of pitting, but that's still really solid. And it's like, woohoo, we finally found, and that's just smoke that you guys are seeing right there. I'll show you right there. See, that's just smoke from my plasma cutter, because to drill the spot welds, I had to cut at the rocker. Now you can see, let me see if I can show you, that brace stays. That's like I guess the pillar, or the bottom of the pillar, I guess, or something. But like there's three spot welds right there. You can see how it folds under in there, and like I showed you where the rocker ended, but then it continues to the very end of the pillar there. All right, I'm looking at these floors. They're not bad. I'm still on the fence. I gotta admit. I mean, if I get under here with a wire wheel, I can show you that's still really good metal. So we didn't do a terrible job putting them pans in, so I'm still thinking about that one. We'll see. we'll come up with an answer on that. Sorry, I'm bouncing you around a little bit, but I got to get up. I think that's the last time I'm getting on the ground today, guys. I can't explain how difficult it was to lay on my side there and get all them bolts, but we got it, you know. And all the shims that fell out, you guys, you Chevy guys know. I mean, there was about 5 or 6 here. There was 4 on the front of the firewall, and this stack of rusty ones was right underneath the fender. I mean, you guys know. Well, it wasn't adjusted right to begin with. This is the side that just looks shorter. It's like when the hood come down, everything was nice and square. The gaps on both sides were perfect, but this side just kept coming up, I guess about a 1/4 inch short. And if I would have taken the fender this way a little bit, which I could have done, I guess, it would have made the gap too big for the door. But I don't know if that's because of this mess they did here with this. You guys, I showed you this, how terrible that 1/4 repair was. I mean, we're not even attached here anymore, guys. That's not there. We got a couple braces just holding it for now. It'll be all right. It's going to be fun, like I said, to finally put a piece of new sheet metal back in. Maybe tomorrow. I mean, it's over the holiday. All right, guys, what's the next day? I figured I'd bring in and show you real quick. We got the rocker all the way off. I feel like we did a pretty good job. Go over it real quick. You see, my inner rocker looks really good. And we're able to drill most of them here, so we didn't turn it into Swiss cheese. I had to cut them out up in there. You can see where the holes are, but we'll weld them shut. It's not a big deal. I had to cut the rocker out of the way to drill them. And when you get over in here, you guys can see the mess in here. I got to vacuum out. And I'm going to have to get a wafer wheel. Let me see if I can show you this. I'm not sure if I can get in there enough to show you, but I never drilled it through from the inside. I was able to get everything off from here. You see them up in there. I'm going to have to clean them up with a wafer wheel. And then after that, I will strategically drill on the inside here to make it nice and neat. I'll put 3 holes here and then 3 holes here on this wall. You can see I had to pull the vent box back out of the way. I had to take the emergency brake bracket off and the high beam bracket out of the way just to slide it out. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'll try to show you where the bottom of the pillar bracket is right there. I couldn't get in there with a drill I had. You can see they're ugly torch things, but the only thing I could get in there was that plasma cutter torch. And you know, we'll clean that off a little bit the best we can, and then hit it with some diverter and weld through primer. And then when we get the rocker up in there, we'll fill those back up. All right. Like I said, we'll have 3 holes along here and here, but that's a bird's nest, guys. if you're doing a rocker on a Nova, we had no choice, and it's the same thing on the other side. I could have stuck my hand up in there. The rot was all the way right in here, so we had to do it. But if you could cut it along there, I suppose I could have cut this along here and left the one plate up in here. It wasn't terrible, but at that point, what are you doing? 3 or 4 welds? So, but that's where I'm at right now. All right, guys, well, we got this rocker panel roughed in on this rusty old Nova. Man, was that a job. I think we're close. I mean, I'll show you the indicators I used, and you guys can leave me a comment and let me know what you think, but I mean, I had to go by what I have here. So we got the rocker panel all the way up, flush against where it's supposed to be. It's all the way up, so that's nice and tight. We got a couple screws holding it. If you look right here, this is the kind of stuff. The old rocker, see this notch right here? It's right here. It was like it was hooked in there. So we're a little bit more forward than that, but it's right up against the notch right here. So I think I'm just gonna have to do a little slicer job right there and peen that around and weld it in nice when we get to that point. I don't trust welding it just yet, and I'll show you why. We come down here to this first wire loom bracket. okay? And this is something that I was using to go by. It's like you have a notch in this inner rocker from the factory that was for these wire loom straps or whatever you want to call them, I guess. And both of ours, I don't know if you guys can see that, are lined up perfectly. All right, and I got to use indicators like that, guys. I mean, look at this rocker. I can't explain. I can't articulate. That's the word, articulate. I can't articulate how poorly this thing was hung. I mean, you can see here, I welded a plate onto it, right? And then I drove a wedge in, because I don't want to put any welds on our nice new rocker. And I drove a wedge in until this came out to where it's supposed to be. Okay? And then you look here, and we're flush. Let me get the flashlight, guys, so you can see. All right, we're flush in the back, but as you come down, it opens way up. All right, and it's like, that had a little bit of a worry. All right, but then I look inside on the back side of this striker, and they have it all the way up. So they did a whole bunch of funky stuff on this, and it's like, you know, that's what I'm up against, you know. And it's like we're really close, but I have like 6 screws top and 6 screws down the bottom. And I mean, it feels like the lip's a little high here and a little low here. So it's like, you know, hey, look, it's aftermarket stuff, but it's really close, and I feel like we're right there. Okay, so at this point, I think the next move would be to hang the door, all right, and see where we're at. This hinge is shot. This top hinge, the door's so saggy. And I have pins here and bushings, so I'm going to change this pin and bushing on this top one. I feel like the bottom one is like super tight. So I don't feel like I got to mess with that one, but this one I do. And they have like a notch on the back of these pins. I'm going to have to grind it off and pop it out. And the new ones just have a clip that holds them in, which is fine. All right, so I'm going to do that, get that done, and then we're going to put the door on, and then we'll see where we're at with the fit on this rocker. All right, I may just leave it screwed for right now until I put the inner wheel well back in and stuff like that, because I mean, we don't want to be too far off on this thing. And it's been repaired so many different times by so many different people. And the last group that had it, who put this quarter panel on, well, I had wished they had never just, I know they did their best, but they probably should have just not done anything. All right, let me get this pin taken care of, and we'll bring you back in after we get the door on. All right, guys, well, we got the door mounted up. We changed that hinge pin and bushings on the top here like we talked about, so the door's nice and tight now. We got it lined up, I feel like the best we can for right now. I'm using this body line and this body line, they're original to the car, as kind of indicators as to where I'm at. I mean, just starting right here, it's way off, and then it's good here, then it's way off. I'll show you at the bottom here. If you remember, we welded that plate on there. That's really not anything but for my brain right now, because it's not doing anything. But you can see how much lower this door line is than the quarter line. And it's exactly that amount of space where it should be tight up against, like right there. It's open that much. So we know that this quarter was just hung crooked, so we can't go by it. We got the rocker mounted to where I think it's really close. I want to show you a couple things. I actually have a second set of holes in the inner rocker where I can slide the rocker this way a 1/4 inch or this way a 1/4 inch. Right now I got it all the way forward. I'll show you that over here against the door right here. And it looks like it's just a little bit too far forward. All right, so I may end up sliding that back. We're gonna start messing with that inner wheel tub, and that's gonna help me get it lined up too. I'll be able to figure it out between that and that, but I may end up moving the rocker back a 1/4 inch. I'll show you. Let me open the door up. What I'm talking about here. I'm pretty sure I do have to slide it back but we'll see. All right, so if I showed you guys this the other day, I think, yeah, there's a little notch right here. This little notch right here, the rocker was hooked into this notch right here, and it's just forward that much. Now, if I move it back to there, that opens this up, and there's like a big gap right here. But I think if you look here, that broke off, that piece of metal broke off, so we could add a piece of metal and fix that back up. That's no big deal. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I have to go back that way a 1/4 inch. But I'm not welding anything right now, so it doesn't matter. All right, the door closes pretty good. There you go. All right, for what it is, it closes all right. We put the wheel or the stand back under there. It's back on the pinch weld, so it's helping support the car. Everything's not on that wood anymore. All right, bring you under here and show you what our next move is going to be. All right, and it's going to be we're going to get the rest of this wheel well off of this bracket right here. I'm going to repair the upper bracket right there, and then we're going to screw and we'll clean up all the surfaces and put some weld through primer on everything, and then we're going to screw the inner wheel well in. I'm going to clamp the outer wheel well to it just to help line it up, and then I'll pull it out after we screw in the inner, and that'll help me know for sure if we're too far forward on this rocker, because I can't use this line. If you look at this line, I was looking at this line, and it's pretty good. It's not too bad. The rocker itself has a little like curve out right here where it would have to be touched up with a grinder, but it's not bad. But like I say, I think we're too far. Forward, but we'll see. You can even see where the last thing was, this 1/4 inch mark right here. So that's what I'm thinking. I will tell you that we learned a lesson on this side, even though this side is way worse. And you know, it's weird, guys. It's the other side, yeah, there's rot on there, you know, the normal. But this side, for whatever reason, this one side, maybe it was like parked on the street, you know, and the snow plow kept pushing salt up onto this side, because it's rotted all the way up into the package tray. The bottom of the package tray on the bottom side's not even there anymore. I just noticed that the other day, so I'll have to patch that up somehow. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But I did learn. I think it'll be a lot easier. We're going to do the rocker on this side before we take the wheel tubs out. That way we know our forward and back exactly. We can fit it up precisely. Even though this side was patched on the wheel wells as well, we still have a basic starting point where we know we're going to be really, really close. So that's what's going on. All right, and that's going to be into the next video. I'm going to be working on the inner wheel tub and maybe a little bit of the outer, and then we'll start on the other rocker. I'm updating you guys a lot on the shorts, on the YouTube shorts. I encourage you to go over and take a look. Before I screwed that rocker on, there's a couple shorts that show you I did rust convert any of the bad stuff, and we put weld through primer, 2 coats on everything, and it also shows where I fixed that door pin. I'm kind of like mixing it up, a little bit of shorts with the longer form video to explain better what we're doing and what our next moves are. If that makes any sense. It's the content I have, so I'm spreading it out. All right, that's where we're at. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Sure am enjoying making it. If you think about it, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a penny, and it sure does help me. So until next time, take care, everybody.